Hello, guys and gals. Welcome to another episode of the Power Half Hour Unstoppable Business Owner. I'm your host, Dorothy Odell, for this evening. What an unstoppable day this has freaking been. I have had to change I have had to change guests a couple times today. It's just been one of those days, and that's okay. And before we bring on our mystery guest today, I just wanted to say thank you to some of the whole sponsors that we've already had for the third annual Don Gray Memorial Classic. Kira's Rose Garden out of Tilbury, Ontario, Southern Elliott Insurance out of Tilbury and Chatham, Ontario, and IG Wealth Investors Management Group with Mauricio here in Windsor, Ontario. So thank you so much. We are, of course, still looking for more host sponsors. We're looking for more golfers. So if you'd like to golf, come join us August 3rd. We need to know, though, by July 20th. So just give me a shout out either in the comments or private message me if you know me. And if you don't know me, comment wherever you're watching. With that, I have the distinct pleasure of bringing Miss Stephanie Rivera to the show. Welcome, ma'am. How are you?
Hello, I am wonderful. How are you today?
I'm just basking in the goodness of God today, and I don't take that lightly. And I know that this is a business show. However, we couldn't have a business show without networking, right? And
Right.
this is the power of networking when shit goes south, pardon my French, and at the last minute your last minute guest couldn't come on. The power of networking. And I met Stephanie, I don't know how long ago, but it feels like we've been soul sisters forever.
Mhm.
And Stephanie is in the great state of New York, and I'm here in Windsor, Ontario. And this is what I did. I picked up the phone because I knew Stephanie and knew she was an amazing woman. And I said, hey, can you get on? And so here she is. So Stephanie, if the audience hasn't seen your first episode and they're just seeing you for the first time tonight, share a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Oh, good. Who am I? Hi. I am a thousand things. Most recently, besides wife, mother of three amazing humans, wonderful, proud, lovey grandma of my scrumptious, almost 2-year-old Vincent, the host of the Joy Found Here podcast, celebrating our third year in that. And I'm also getting ready to add to my commas, and that will be former 9 to 5er and present digital creator. Stay tuned.
Love it. Love it. You do some coaching too, don't you?
I do. I absolutely do some. I've been really focusing and getting a little more intent on clarity coaching, which God's sense of humor, which we should talk about, is
Yes.
I find it just hysterical because for 3 years I'm like, I know I'm a good listener. I can see people's greatness. I can see their superpower. Why don't they just see this in themselves? Why don't I listen to myself? But I just didn't know, like, what kind of a coach am I? And then what's that? Oh, I'm a clarity coach that it took me 3 effing years to get clear on that. So yeah, I'm a clarity coach, and I do have a wonderful ability to hear between the lines, to hear what people's fear is and what's holding them back from really achieving what they want and really, their superpower, what God gave them.
Right. I love that. And so where can people find you, Stephanie? Because I mean, by the end of this 30 minutes, you're gonna say, give me Stephanie's cell phone number so I can call her at any time too, and she'll be there for me too.
And she'll pull
Um,
over and charge her car while she jumps. Absolutely, I will. It's really worked out well. Get an extra little boost, some more battery power on the way home. Why not? Um, I hang out on Facebook and Insta. Facebook, I am Stephanie Rivera. Insta, I am at Stephanie Martinez Rivera. Joyfoundhere.com is the website. Find me. I'm there. Don't. reach out, ask Dorothy where the hell I am, and I will definitely answer back, and I would love to engage.
I love that. And if, like I said, if you don't know Stephanie, you have to get to know this woman. She's like phenomenal. And I swear we had, I don't even think we had prior talked to each other when we went on each other's podcast. I think that was on yours first. And
it was probably at the end of January, I think the end of January, because we were saying, what the hell was that? Like we both went through the car wash and wasn't in the car. Like we just got swallowed up and spit out and not really quite knowing where we landed. And yet 1,000 great things happened since then.
100%. And, and it's funny. We were both going through the storm then, and we're going through a new storm now. And I just had, she goes, what do you want to talk about? And I'm like, well, can I just say here? And so today has not been my proudest moments in life. Let's just say that. And so this is what it's like to have. I've spent the last 10 years inner healing work and digging in, and these last 6 months, it's just been like, nope, whatever is attached to me not being where I want to be, it's getting rid of. So God has used that, especially the last 24 hours. So just to give a little background history of this. So when you're leasing a vehicle, please, whatever you do, make sure you read all fine print. Don't just take your salesperson's word for it. Read everything. Doesn't matter. Let them sit there and read it, right? If you, especially here in Canada, did you realize that at the end of your lease that there's a $395 charge? It's to hand back the keys. So ask your, I'm not sure that wasn't on our first lease, but it is on this last one that we had. So make sure that you read that. So buyer beware. Make sure that when the salesman says, oh, by the way, is everything that you had in the last vehicle, make sure that you actually go look. Just do yourself a favor and do that. So these are the tips that I'm sharing with you right now, right? And that extra warranty that you paid the additional $1,500 for, really find out what is covered in that. There is back when I was in trailer sales, we used to sell that too, the extended warranty, and the upload on that is 150%, right? So technically that $1,500 package only really cost $300, and then the rest of the goes to the, anyways, just so you get what I'm saying, but really understand what it is that you're buying. Just don't take somebody's word for it. Read the fine print, read everything. So to make a long story short, I did a stupid thing. I admit it. I fully screwed up. I kind of grazed the side of the house with my vehicle back when it was like 2 to 3 inches of snow in my driveway, and I thought I had enough room, and I didn't. Okay. So I just thought, it's okay. I bought the extended warranty. Like I bought the repair damage and all that.
Dents and nicks and
Yeah. So I thought, not a problem. We're covered. So, and I also had been told that don't worry about it. At the end of the lease is when everything happens anyways. So I didn't think nothing of it. So we're getting close to the end of our lease, right? And so I'm like, there's just certain circumstances, and I decided that I'm just going to part ways with the company. I'm not going to say what company it was. We're just going to part ways, and I decided that let's just go with something completely new. Completely new. That I'm a Ford girl. Well, I should have went back to my Fords. I ended up with the GM. Not GM, Chrysler, sorry. I ended up with Chryslers. And I thought, you know what? Nobody in my family has had a Nissan. So my husband and I are looking at different vehicles at the Nissan dealership. He knows a buddy who knows somebody. So we thought we'll go down that route. In the meantime, I'm still trying to take care of this old lease, right? Because it's up July 21st. So finally figured out when our last payment is. And then they tell me, oh no, that's not covered. Like that damage isn't covered. I'm like, what?
Hmm.
Because I shared pictures, right? So I'm just like, okay. So I called up my repair guy and I said, hey, when can I come in so you can give me an estimate on there? So I showed up at 6 o'clock this morning.
Wow.
Shout out to Metro Collision on Windsor Avenue in Windsor. Go see Dino if you need any help with your collision repair. So great guy, super great. Anyhow, he says, yeah, that's going to cost $1,800 plus
Good.
tax.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so needless to say, yesterday, I know everything works out for my good and I know everything. But when you're going through a storm, literally yesterday, every other minute was, I know everything's going to work out. I know it. And that in a moment of panic, and then everything's going to work out. Right. I'm like, okay, doesn't matter. Whatever. We've got this. So waited, got Dino's estimate. Then all of a sudden, I was supposed to have a noon appointment with somebody to learn about, just to network with her. And so my phone rang. I thought it was her. No, it was the lease company calling me. And I'm just like, so she starts talking to me. And of course, I'm agitated by this time with everything that has gone on. And so I was not proud of myself. I was a little bit irritated.
Not your fault.
And
It happens.
not my finest moment. And, she goes, I feel like that you're pissed off. And I said, yeah, I'm pissed off. And she goes, well, is there anything I can do to help? I'm like, nope. And she goes, well, would you like to drop the car back off at the dealership or do you want me to have them pick it up? And I said, well, if you want to pick it up on my driveway, that's fine. I said, but are you going to charge me to do that? Because, I found the letter from the lease company that apparently came in the mail back in the beginning of the year. And I'm reading all the fine print on this. And the fine print is, oh, well, if there's this much damage, then we're going to charge you an additional $2,000 of the depreciated value and all of this. And I'm like, oh my God. So, in my mind, that amplified. I was just like, how much am I going to have to pay to get rid of this damn thing? Right. Anyways, so we ended the conversation and after I hung up with her, I'm just like, I didn't feel right. I was just like, that is not who I am. Who the hell was that? That is not how I react or whatever. Right. And number one, I don't want that to be the first impression that I give somebody that I just talked to. So I contacted her and I said, listen, I'm truly sorry. I said, thank you for reaching out to me. I'm truly sorry that I acted in that way. I said, that's not who I am. And nor do I want that to be, how you remember me by. Mm-hmm. And she goes, can you do me a favor and send me the picture of the damage done to the Jeep? So I sent it to her. Mm-hmm. And she says, well, so she calls me and she says, wait a minute. She goes, can the fender be bumped up? Is the light broken? Blah, 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 blah. Come to find out, she says, fix the light, get the scratches buffed off, get the white buffed off the black fender. Just have them fix the bumper that's already there and call it a day. I'll let the rest go. So I called up my Dino. I called up Dino and I said, you wouldn't believe what just happened. I said, can you do this, this, and this? All you have to do is repair the light. And he goes, are you serious? I said, yeah. He goes, not a problem. So the bill went from $2,000 to $500. Mm-hmm. And I said, if I get it, you've already ordered the parts. If you have to pay a restocking fee, let me know. I get it. He goes, no, that's okay. I built the relationship. So he built his relationship. I built my relationship with him. I'm building the relationship with this lease company. And in me talking to her after I had calmed down, she had said to me, oh, that's okay. She goes, how did this happen? So I told her what happened. She goes, that's okay.
Even better.
I hit
her story.
Right. I hit my daughter's vehicle and that was $5,000 worth of damage. I was just like, what? I was just like, okay. So I developed a kinship with her, right? she accepted my apology. She realized after I had told her what had transpired this morning, she realized that, wait a minute, a $2,000 bill at the end of a lease, anybody would be upset. So to make a long story short, so I was vulnerable, I was authentic, I was not no longer anybody's doormat. I told the truth in all situations. I even told her that the bumpers ripped at the bottom and everything like that. So God is so good. And I had kept saying to myself, everything works in my favor. And it did. And so, building those relationships, being vulnerable, being authentic, and just, knowing and having faith that everything's going to work out is the key.
So a few things in your story, which was because we're all guilty of, how you didn't read the contract. You said it a few times, you beat yourself up. Again, that's rear view mirror. Horse is out already. Nothing you can do to change it. But the fact that you just kept believing, as you stated, everything will work out. Something similar type. We were talking earlier. I have been traveling a lot. I'm extremely lucky and very, very happy to. And my husband and I were just down in Florida at the end of April. We were visiting friends. We saw some family. Then we were going to do a day and a half in North Carolina so I could spend my birthday with my grandson. And while I'm making the travel arrangements, I decide, I can do, the Florida to North Carolina back to New York. I can do one ticket on points and then I'll just pay for one ticket. Go me, go Stephanie. Great. The day before you go to check in and they're offering at no charge if we want to change our flight to the next later flight, of which I'm like, that's not a bad idea. My brother-in-law lives a little further from the airport, gives us a little more time. Okay, we'll change the flight. I agree to this. Really, first time I do anything, I usually don't change anything. And I do this, and now I'm, check in, and I'm looking for my reservation, and I have two cell phones. Just remember that part. I have two cell phones. So I'm looking on the one cell phone, I check in, and all of a sudden it's like, where am I? Like, where's my ticket? There's my husband's. And then it dawns on me. I'm like, oh, that's right. You did it. You did points on one and paid for another. So I go onto mine on the other phone, and I can't change mine because I did mine on points. So now what just happened here? I still have an earlier flight. I'm flying by myself. My husband's flying 2 hours later than me. And you start automatically with, what the hell were you thinking, Stephanie? And it continues from there. So I get on the chat with American Airlines. I will shout out because they've been very good to me. And I start telling them my story. And at first I was told that I can't change because I used points. I can cancel my flight, but it takes at least 24 hours for the points to repost. And this is chat. And now I'm like, are you, and now I get mad and frustrated. Yeah. And they're like, do you want us to proceed? I'm like, no, I don't want to be on a separate flight. I just want to get to spend my birthday with my grandson. And maybe that was the part that, maybe they turned around on. I don't know. But they're like, is there anything else I can help you with? And I'm snark. I'm not happy, but who am I mad at? I'm mad at myself. I can't, I'm shooting the messenger. Mm-hmm. So I just say, you know what? Obviously next time I need to pay attention. That's all. And maybe I'll rethink my airlines. I might have said that. And they said, if we can get your points back and get you on the same flight, do you want to do that? Now I'm thinking, I wanted to do that an hour ago, but thanks for offering. Yes, but you said, they're like, hold on a second. Let me see if I can expedite. So now I learned I like it. So I stay on, and she says, okay, your points have been, we expedited, your points are back on the account, and I put you on the later flight. Okay, thank you so much. And now I'm like, give me the survey. I'm filling it out because you stayed. I said, I appreciate your patience because you stayed with me, even though I wasn't at my highest. But I was just really mad at myself. Mm-hmm. And I said, shame on me. And I think when you take responsibility for your actions. And yes, are we directing at a messenger? It's like the news anchor. They're reading the teleprompter. They're just telling you.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we had two people that we encountered, you and I, that
Yes.
perhaps did see the vulnerability and the authenticity to be like, okay, let me help a sister out here. And it's a good feeling, and to go a little above and beyond, it's a breath of fresh air to find that.
Right. And I think we should really remember that in our businesses. Like, how can we go above and beyond for our clients, right? And just really like take that step back and think, okay, we realized that by speaking our truth, and we realized that yes, we were more mad at ourselves than anything else. And at the situation. But at the end of the day, if we had, pressed through, persevered, been raw, been authentic, how can we translate that into great customer service for our clients, right? Because we want, just think of how elated we were. Like, I was just like, man, I just saved $1,500, and you're like, yes, I get to be on the same flight as my husband.
Right.
And just think, I think I even told her I loved her. Right. And so how can we bring that customer service, that level of customer service to our clients? It's just something to think about. I mean, I know we all do great and we all help as much as we can, but sometimes going a little bit above and beyond is what's necessary.
I think it's important, and I think in our cases that the people on the other end heard us, and it's important to be heard. I mean, that's one of my I know in my life, I want to be seen and heard. Extremely important to me. And that's what people want. So
Yes.
I think when you have a customer service situation, as opposed to like, again, I'll not being defensive, but like, well, according to my policy, this is how we handle it. I always start with, I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a neutralizer. I hear what you're saying. Let me understand. I heard you say, so is this the problem? Because a lot of times what might start out as the problem isn't the problem. If it's not something that I ordered black and I received white. If it's not something that simple, it's just, we can hear and listen better.
100%. And that's so funny because communication has been coming up a lot for me, right? And I fully admit, coming from a family that didn't have a lot of great communication, even with my parents, like my parents' marriage, they were married for 47 years before my dad passed away. And the one thing that they had really going for them was the fact that they chose each other and they chose not to give up. But I'm telling you, great communicators, no.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's where I learned it from. And I'm doing better. I'm intentional on having those different conversations with my spouse. That doesn't mean that it's easy, number one, and that doesn't mean that it always happens. It just means that,
Yeah.
And it is so funny when I have that after I'm done having that conversation with my husband, I feel so much better. I'm like, why did you even like go into your head about everything before you just having the conversation, stating the facts? And so now I'm at a spot where I force myself to bring up a situation so that we could talk it out, right? And so it's just weird.
Writing the story in your head. Oh, if I say, then I know he's going to. I mean, we're all definitely guilty, and the longer you're with your partner, probably the better you know them, and again, you can use it to your advantage. Some people might call that manipulating. I don't know, allegedly, but
Right.
Is you just know someone so well, but then that by you again writing the story, if I say this, I know he's going to say this, and then I'm going to get locked and loaded because then I'm going to come right back with this or the other. Let them surprise you.
Yes.
You don't have to be right. Be wrong. Let's surprise you without the story.
That's right. And it's okay to be wrong.
And
Because
it's fun.
and as somebody who is, I've really learned to detach from the outcome,
Mhm.
right? I'd rather be happy than right.
Ah,
And my husband is like, nope, I'm right no matter what, and blah blah
uh,
blah. And I'm just like, okay, you're right.
yep. Yeah.
You're right.
It's not
I,
that
I love you. You're right. um,
not that
and choosing to be happy instead of right, as that doesn't mean that happens 100%. You don't get me wrong. There are moments that I'm just like,
you don't have to do your disclaimer. It's
yeah,
again, we're people that, we have our good days, we have our off days. Yeah,
yes.
it's not a stellar, it might not be a gold star day, but overall, you're a good person. It doesn't define. So
Mhm,
again, a little grace. Give yourself as much compassion, which we don't, as we do to others.
mhm.
We'll give it to strangers before we give it to ourselves. Start here.
100%. Oh man, this is all good, juicy stuff. And we didn't even have this plan. Nothing planned.
Just if I'm still driving home, this is just us talking. But go on.
Oh my God. Well, a lot of the best laid plans. What's it saying? The best laid plans.
I know.
I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't matter what the original saying is. It's sometimes it's better to just go off the cuff.
And it's fun just to say yes.
Yes. So I have a challenge for people because lately I've been saying yes to a lot more things than what I normally would have.
Mm.
And um and it's funny because like I said, I was at Metro Collision this morning at 6, which meant that I got to work way, way early, which meant that I had an opportunity to have my walk-in before work. And my one of my good friends is doing the El Camino in Portugal right now. And so I'm just like,
Know a few. I see a few. I don't know them, and I
yeah.
apologize for the noise because I am in my car. Um, I've seen a few people on Facebook. Not certainly no one that I know, but that's really really cool. So go on.
So I really miss her. Like I haven't seen her. She's also one of my business partners on one of my joint ventures. So I have not seen or talked to her in 26 days. And yesterday was like I ended up calling my mom last night. Thank God for my mom. Shout out to mom. Because I was just at my wits' end thinking, okay, hell, here we go again. Here's another. We just put the roof on, new roof, and now $2,000, right? So I called my mom, and my mom was great. Normally, she doesn't handle it well when I'm upset, but she was great and amazing. But I just needed that girlfriend that understands me like 100%, right? Because no one, like you and I are we're outside of the normal people, right?
Correct.
And so I called Kimberly, and she actually answered, and
Oh,
I was just like, oh, you answered. Yay. I needed somebody who just thinks like me and that gets it. And so we talked for like 45 minutes. And then I had sent, I don't know if you guys know the hair guy on Facebook who does the reels that is the really good. He says the F word a lot, but it's different. He does the whole like thing. And he's really good at it. So I had sent her one of his reels that just says, "Hey, how you doing?" basically, but it's really good. And I didn't realize that she sent me the exact same one.
oh, stop.
And I was just like, no freaking way. And normally I'm the friend that thinks of everybody, that sends out these messages, "Hey, just thinking of you," really wanting that back, but not saying anything because I figure, oh, they're busy. I don't want to bug them. So she called me right afterwards. So I got to talk to two of my sisters this morning. And so it was great. And now my third sister here, getting to talk to my third sister. It's just been a great day.
So quickly in human design, familiar with it? Because it
No.
sounds like you're a projector. when you wait on the sidelines to be. I'm a projector too. That's why I say that. Like, we wait to be invited. Like, you'll take care of everybody. I got it. But we won't intrude on. Yeah, so it definitely sounds like one. We have to get you. I'll hook you up with a human design person, probably for the pod if you'd like, because there's a couple good ones out there.
Ooh, sounds interesting. I'm not always on the sidelines, but 9 times I still have that lingering thing. Yes, I'm working on it.
You and me.
Anyway, Stephanie, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Thank you so much. It's the 31-minute mark here, so I know you got your drive home from work. So I appreciate you so much for jumping in and sharing your wisdom. Any last words for our guest today?
Don't be afraid to say yes, and that's what friends are for.
Oh, I love that so much. Thank you so much, Stephanie. We appreciate you. Yes. Bye. Be unstoppable in all you do, guys. Bye for now.